Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Fall Open House. And today we're having the student panel. So thank you again for joining us either virtually or for joining us in person today in the LMC. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, so again, welcome. Just to introduce myself, I'm Nellie, the Director of Admissions here at Berkeley Journalism. I've definitely connected with many of you already, but if you have any questions after this session, you're welcome to connect with me as well. Okay, so today I just want to introduce the student panel. Let's get right into this panel and get to know our student panelists. Today we'll actually just have each of them. We'll all ask a few questions of our panelists, and each of them will kind of address those questions. And then at the end we'll open it up to Q&A. You're welcome to put your questions in the chat or unmute yourselves and ask a question. So we'll definitely try to get to everyone's questions today. Okay, so my first question to you all is, and I know most of you have microphones. If not, I can pass you the microphone as well. But I guess what brought you here? Kind of, how did you come to decide to apply for a Master of Journalism, and then also why Berkeley specifically? And maybe we can go in the order of that you are all sitting in, just to make it easier.
Hi, my name is Lila. I'm a first year here, so this is my first semester currently. I decided to pursue a master's in journalism because, one, I want to become a journalist, and two, the industry is really crazy right now. So I wanted to make sure that, if I'm going into the journalism industry, that I've perfected my skills as much as I can, so I'm competitive for that job market, essentially. And I chose Berkeley. Berkeley was actually the only school I applied to. I wanted to stay local in California, and there's not a ton of other options. I'm from the Bay, and Berkeley just has like this fantastic reputation. Also, Shireen is here, Shireen Marisol Meraji, Lisa Armstrong. There are amazing professors here, and I just kind of jumped up at the opportunity to learn from them. So yeah.
Hi. Okay. I'm Minahil. I decided to, come to Berkeley Journalism because of the investigative reporting program here, and because I had a print background. I'd worked in print for like a year and a half, kind of, and I wanted to expand my skill set, and I saw the multimedia program here, and I could do both multimedia and investigative, which is what I'm doing right now. And that kind of, that's the reason why I decided to come here. We have David Barstow, whose, investigative reporting program generates really great stories every year. So yeah, I'm super lucky to be here.
Okay. Hello, my name is Daniela. I'm a second-year multimedia student, and I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley in IE, so I'm from SoCal. Why I came to Berkeley? I honestly was really hesitant to come up to the Bay. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to stay down in SoCal. But surprisingly, I've been amazed by the Bay and I'm falling in love with it. But anyways, I have a background in marketing and social media management. So I just felt like I was at a point where I just needed to grow as a journalist. And I thought that pursuing a master's was the way to go. And yeah, it brought me here, and I'm really grateful. It's a great program. I've been having fun, and yeah.
Hey y'all, my name's Dan. So I was living and working in LA, mostly in TV and commercial production, but I always had a love of documentary film, and so coming here was kind of a career pivot for me because I wanted to also study journalism and do more of that and do more doc work as well. And so the real appeal of this program was that there's a documentary program embedded within the School of Journalism, which is really unique to Berkeley. And so that's what really drew me. And this was the only school I applied to as well. I was like, if I don't get into Berkeley, I'm going to do something else. I don't want to go anywhere else. So that's why I'm here.
Hi, my name is Skyla Mumana. I am a second year on the narrative track. And so I came straight out of undergrad to grad school. And I mean, for a few reasons. One being that the program that I was at was just a little bit dated. I knew that there were things going on in the industry that I had just not been informed of in my undergrad experience, had not been privy to. I knew that there were like a lot of skills that I needed to really either brush up on or kind of like reinforce, you know. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to grad school. And the main reason why I chose Berkeley, and not gonna lie, it's money. I feel like Berkeley itself too just has a lot of resources and a lot of things that they offer to, you know, students who may financially either be struggling or may financially not be able to, you know, kind of pay for grad school out of pocket. And so I'm really thankful that I was able to get like a really good scholarship through Berkeley, and that really informed my decision. So.
Yeah, I'm Nava. I guess I have like 3 tracks up there, but I'm technically on the audio track. But I guess that's also why I wanted to come to Berkeley. Similar to Sky, I came straight from undergrad and I studied journalism, but it was mainly like writing and some photography. And I really wanted to hone in on my multimedia skills and audio, which I had never really done before. And also, yeah, the money was really good. There's a lot of cool fellowship opportunities. Me and Sky actually have the same fellowship, and coming from out of state, that was really helpful. So.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. So my next question to you is, what's one project you've worked on so far that really stands out? And it could be a project, it could be just like a memory or something that you just like has like highlighted, like that you want to spotlight in your journey, your J school journey thus far. Just want to keep it broader for you all.
Yeah. I think especially for me too, because since I'm in my first semester, probably don't have as many projects as y'all. But I feel like a most like notable project is the one that I'm working on right now. If you decide to do the intro to journalism class, which I highly recommend, essentially what happens is that we pitch out shows. So you'll pitch out a very broad topic theme, and I pitched out student protests, and we're currently working on that. And it's just been an amazing experience. I'm super stressed out because I have to condense 9 hours of interview that I took into 5 minutes. But that's like an amazing skill. I'm doing it with Shireen, who, if you don't know who she is, you need to Google her right now because she's that girl. So just having the opportunity to do that under her guidance is just like, I think it's like career changing. And it's also something beautiful that I get to do because I'm working with people who are much older. They're like in their 70s to 80s, or have passed away, and their family members, and their history hasn't been taken down. So it's like a very rewarding and intimate and like just like all like professional. Like it's just a really great experience to be a part of telling that story. So I'm really excited for that to come out, and currently working on that.
Yeah, I think I can't specifically say that there's one project that I'm proud of, but there's like a couple stories that I was able to do as part of my internship in Armenia, where I was able to cover displacement. I feel like I'm really proud of that because through Berkeley Journalism, I was able to get an internship in Armenia, and I was able to cover stories which were not covered by mainstream media outlets, especially when you look at international coverage of, you know, underrepresented regions like Armenia. Yeah, so that's something that I'm really, really proud of.
For me, it's in the works, but I'm really proud of my thesis project, my capstone, but I guess something that I've already done, I interned at Mission Local this summer, and I was able to take over doing social video for them. And I mean, just throughout the summer, all the content that I was able to create for them, I'm really proud of. So you can check it out on their Instagram, Mission Local. But yeah.
So I'm going to highlight a requirement of all first-year students, which is a reporting class, which is, we're the 60 of us in the class are broken up into different, we're reporting for different outlets, either in Richmond or Oakland, and then other people are covering a state. Is anyone involved in that? Like the stakes? Yeah. And so you're assigned a reporting beat, and you learn how to, cover a story in 500 words or maybe a little bit more. And I had never done anything like that. I didn't see myself as a writer, and that was a terrifying prospect to do that, because I didn't see myself as a creative writer. Still don't. But reporting has been more fun and easier is a weird word to use, but easier than I expected in terms of, like, I feel like I can get the writing done, and that was something that was really terrifying. But it's been really enjoyable to get out and do reporting like that, and it's surprising to me, so that's something I've really enjoyed.
Oh, okay. So for me, I think it is kind of hard to hone in on one specific project where I'm like, oh, I really, really liked this. But something I guess I've been pretty proud of is like my ongoing food coverage that I've kind of been doing. I've been covering food in the East Bay, and right now I'm covering food in San Francisco for another outlet. And I mean, it's just been a really rewarding experience getting to learn about a new area, about a new place through the lens of food and like how their foodways work. And I've been able to just do like a variety of stories, whether it's like something more hard news, talking about like food insecurity, what's going on currently with like SNAP and like food banks and things like that, versus just like more fun stories where like I'll get to try out a new spot, I'll get to highlight a new place, just things like that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I also do food coverage. And over the summer, I had an internship in food, and I got to do a story I was really proud of about food stamps and like how food banks are reacting to the potential federal funding cuts and how that would affect SNAP and EBT. And obviously right now that's super relevant because it's happening way sooner than we had initially anticipated. And so all of that reporting has been super relevant, and in the Chronicles coverage, I've seen it reused, and I don't know, I was proud because I was like, I got to do that story early. So, oh yeah, I know it was on the front page of the paper, so that was cool. But yeah.
Okay, great. This is kind of similar vein of questioning, but what opportunities have you had to get published, do internships, or connect with news organizations? And again, for the first year students, it might be a little more limited here, but yeah, feel free to kind of share any opportunities or things you're excited about.
Yeah, so before I came to Berkeley, I was a Cal Matters Fellow, and I also freelance with KQED. So I kind of get clips elsewhere. I know that through our first year class where you're doing the news production and ideally you're like churning out stories every 2 weeks, it's very common for students, like I know multiple students in my class who have pitched out to Oakland side or Richmond side, and then you also essentially get paid for doing your homework, which is super fun. And you're making money, so hello. But yeah, and just like having access to so many people in the industry, we have like a requirement that you need to have like 40 hours of internship. So right now I'm applying to those internships. I had someone who's like a general assignment reporter at KQED come into my class, and I'm applying to that internship like right now. So just kind of like utilizing that network. I've seen fellow students do that, and also kind of currently doing that.
Yeah, so with getting published, I think even the reporting course that we take in the first semester kind of gets you started if you've not, like if you're new with Richmond Confidential or Oakland North, you usually sort of get the chance to publish your stories. Besides that, through the internship that I did over the summer, I was able to get many pieces published, and they were in different sort of mediums do. So I was able to do a couple of print pieces, get a few video reports out, as well as get some audio stuff done, some social media, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a little bit of everything. And yeah, and that too in sort of an international organization. So yeah, that's what I was able to do through my internship.
So we have Monday, well, I don't think they call them Monday meetups anymore, or media meetups that Betsy Ray organizes. And as a first year, that was a great opportunity for me because a lot of the stories that I was doing for my J200 class, I would pitch to organizations that I would meet during those meetups. So I had one story go out in East Bay Express, it's a magazine, and another one with Mercury News. So I don't think if I wasn't in that space, I don't think I would have ever been able to get connected with those editors. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think not only the professors who were here who have the connections, but also the people coming through for events like that. You just have a lot of, I would say, endless every week opportunities to meet someone that's working in the industry that you could connect with, and if not just learn from, pitch, or potentially find an internship with. So I'm very surprised at just like the volume of opportunities that we do get here, which is pretty great. Slack is always blowing up, and I can't keep up with it, which is a good thing, though, I think, for us. Yeah, I think in terms of publishing, like I talked about the reporting class before, but I recently had a story published just yesterday or the day before that I didn't expect would get published just because of the timing. And I just wrote it. I was like, this is okay, but if I had made the decision, I would not publish it. And it got published. So it's fine. It's out there. And I think that's like it's good. It kind of pushes you to do the work and do it well. And then you end up with published work, whether you expect it to or not. But it's good. It's good. So I'd say you will get published work.
Don't you just love when a story you just never expect to actually do well, like actually like gets published? And so kind of on a similar vein, like I feel like J200 itself is like a mechanics class. And I think one of the good parts of it too is that you're able to really like hone in and get like your reporting basics down. And then, like everyone's kind of said, you get to produce stories from it that are very pitchable, and that, we have faculty and staff that will help you get your story like out there. They'll help you like work on your pitches and things as well. And so I feel like especially one good thing for J200 for me too, is just kind of being able to have like our portfolio of they might not be the best stories, it's not the best journalism ever, but it shows that you know what the mechanics are. It shows that you know exactly what a story is, and that just makes you more competitive, right? For internships, for freelancing, like across the board. And so some J200 stories that I was able to include in my portfolio that I was sending out, to editors, sending out to hiring managers and being like, hey, like this is what I have to show. This is kind of like shows a little bit of what I can do. And then, it kind of just goes off from there. And so, yeah, that's something I definitely appreciated. And that's kind of how I was able to get my internship in this past summer. And it just helps you kind of just build on all the coverage that you do. It just helps you build up your portfolio. And that's also how I'm able to be in the position that I am now with the paper I'm at. So, yeah.
Wait, you asked about like publishing things? Internships? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess my main one was my summer internship, like I said, like with the Chronicle, and I felt like that was a great opportunity. And the cool thing about Berkeley is like the Chronicle has their application process, but there's also a few like Berkeley specific internships, and with SF Gate, which is also Hearst owned. So I think there's a lot of cool opportunities with that. And for over a year now, I've been the social media intern with the Berkeley Psychedelic Center, which is actually really closely connected with the journalism department. There's like a lot of overlap with like the staff and a lot of journalism fellowships. So that's been a really cool opportunity to get story ideas and meet other people like in reporting. Yeah, I don't know if you know Michael Pollan. He used to teach at the J School, but he's also a co-founder of that center. So like working with him, and that's been cool. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nava. So I just want to make sure we have enough time for prospective student questions. So I'm going to ask one or two more questions, but maybe like one or two of you can kind of answer, like maybe raise your hands and just like answer it just for time's sake. So my next question is, how do you balance the workload, classes, reporting, and life outside school? Sure. I love how that was like a fast.
So I will say, for one, it's not easy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You really have to be on your P's and Q's, and you really have to understand what your particular schedule is right now, whether it's like how your class schedule is, whether it's like your work schedule, internship schedule, if you're already doing one during school. And I know for me specifically right now, I'm working with the San Francisco Standard, and I'm also like taking classes here at the J School. And so that balance and trying to achieve that balance has been kind of interesting. It's still something that I'm really trying to get down. But I think the best advice that I have for that is like have a planner. Or have like an online planner, have a physical one, use Google Calendar, whatever, and really map out like when your assignments are due for school versus when your deadlines are due for your pub, and really carve out time to do both things. Like carve out a little bit of time here to do reporting for something school related, carve out time here to do reporting for, your job or like for whatever it is else that you do. And yeah, really trying to keep those kind of things straight. So yeah.
Yeah, anyone else want to add to that? No? Or as a first year, maybe the difference between first year, second year workload, if there's a difference in your perspective?
I feel like a lot of us are still trying to figure it out. I work part-time and I freelance outside of this, and I feel like I'm able to balance things fairly well without like completely losing my mind. I know some people who have tried to work full-time and do their first year were kind of like overextending themselves and really stressed out. And I just wouldn't recommend it if you have that opportunity or you can secure funding, because like you're really kind of only here once. And if you overextend yourself too much outside of the J School, then you might not be putting your best work into or best focus into your work, which is okay, I guess, like depending how much experience you're already coming in with it. But it's like you're building your reputation with your professors, you're building your skills. So it's like if you're cramming to edit this thing in like an hour opposed to like maybe taking longer time to produce quality work, like I think like in the end you might have like less clips or not as quality, or maybe not putting the time aside to like really connect with your professors, which I think like if you're here, like you should try to dedicate your time to that, because like you need to leave here with tangible skills, basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question to. That's a great place to kind of now turn it over to students, and then I'll ask kind of a last question before we kind of let you all go. But I am trying to keep this. I know everyone has classes or most people have classes in the afternoon, and just trying to give everyone the time they need. So there is a question. So I'm going to start with questions in the chat, or let me just start with this one question in the chat. But then we can also, if you all in the audience have questions, people in the chat, we can maybe start with you. I'm like trying to think of if unmuting works, because this is kind of a smaller group. So I feel like we could unmute, but raise your hand first, and then we can kind of go in that order. So the first question in the chat is, there's already a question. Do you have any recommendations for application materials, specifically for someone who does not have much journalism experience? So again, I know some people, this is like already probably a long time ago for our class of, for Lila and Dan, this might be more recent, but yeah, just any kind of recommendations that you have for maybe people that are, did anyone come in with very little journalism experience prior? Okay. Maybe Dan, if you feel comfortable like giving advice on like the application process, or what are they were speaking more specifically to letters of recommendation, but I think application materials in general. That's a good question. Lauren, was there a specific track that you're considering?
Yeah, I'm looking into multimedia. And for context, I've been working in event planning for about a year after college, and I studied communications and psychology in college.
Well, I came in with a marketing background, and I would use a lot of like that audience engagement work that I did. I would make like video explainers. So like you do have to provide, I believe, 1 to 2 writing samples, but that can be different things. But I would just use, if you've done any social media work or anything like that, to kind of, or like you can even do it now, like make a TikTok, like plan out your script and of like an explainer video, put it together, and you can use that as a sample of some work that you can produce. I think people just want to see what your process is and like the outcome.
And just to add to that, as a doc student, I didn't know what to submit for the writing portion of the application, so I repurposed a part of a grant application that I'd written for a film I was working on, and so I took that and kind of turned it into, I forget if it was like 1,000 words or something, turned it into like a narrative piece about the person I was doing the film on, and used that. So
Yeah, I just wanted to add that somebody I know in the cohort, their piece wasn't published, but they just wrote they reported on a story on their own just for the admissions, like just to provide a writing sample to the admissions team. And I think that's a very good idea too, You don't have to have it published, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good point that I think even when we had the faculty panel yesterday, we had all the head of tracks here. I think they all kind of had that same, they said they were kind of looking for your journalistic storytelling abilities. So I think that's a good point you're all making, is they want to have a sense of kind of what, even if it's not published, right, that you, rather than an academic research paper that kind of is, right, is going to be harder for them to assess your potential in journalism, right? If you're kind of straying farther from the journalistic storytelling in your writing samples. So yeah. Okay, any questions in the audience before I go back to the chat? Okay, 1 second, I need to give you.
Hi, thank you. My question is, what kind of skills you got or you expect to get a training in this program? And then after you graduate, what's your goal? I'm more curious about this story because I want to know what's the journey and how this program helped the journey. Thanks.
Kind of like career paths almost, or like what's the trajectory? Like what's your goal, like career goal after?
Yeah. So I can kind of start. So prior to this program, I was basically already doing like print reporting. So I came into this program also so that I have the opportunity to diversify my skill set, because I've received a lot of advice from my mentors to not just have print on your resume, not just have audio, but to kind of expand your skill set. So, and that was really important to me. So in my first semester, even though I'm a narrative student, I'm taking intro to audio, and we have like an amazing program here. So I'm kind of taking that opportunity now to pursue diversifying my skill set. So yeah, I feel like Nava, you might be a good person for this, wouldn't you? Not to call you out, sorry.
So you're asking about like, wait, I'm sorry. I remember your question. Okay. Yeah, so I guess like I said, I mainly had just like writing experience, but I really wanted to hone in on those like multimedia skills. And so kind of being an audio, like she said, like you learn how to edit, which is a really valuable skill to, I feel like, even like for other things like non-journalism related. And I think it's just like ultimately in any track, like you have to learn how to talk to people and network and like reach out to people and call people, which like doesn't sound like something that might be as hard, but it's really difficult, I feel like, even at first. And so like continually practicing with that, I feel like I'm a lot different than I was a year ago and a lot more comfortable with that. And I think just like overall having access to equipment and like all of these resources to practice on, that's been probably the most valuable thing for me.
And also, I will say that if like I think it's also really good to like really diversify your course load and take different classes. Like even though I'm also on the narrative track, like, and I mainly do narrative and just like writing, like I also take photo, like I'm in doc photo, I'm in intro to audio, and just being able to just have these different skills really does make you a lot more competitive, especially to publications. And it's also kind of nice because if you go out on assignment for a story and you have all these skill sets, then you know they might not even need to send a photographer with you. You can take your own photos, right? Just like kind of little things like that. Like you won't even need someone to help you with the copy for like an audio piece. Like you just like write that yourself. You could just basically really own your work.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to add? There's other questions in the chat, so I'm also trying to. Okay, everyone's like, sure. So for documentary students, are there opportunities to work with organizations or news outlets to do filmmaking or make docs?
I'm still figuring that out myself, but I will say that like one of our professors is one of I don't know if he's at least curating films for LA Times Studios, and he's still very connected to the industry. And so, if you had something you wanted to pitch to an outlet, our doc professors would be more than willing to help. And then I think this also came in. Some of this was discussed in some of the internships that have been talked about working specifically with outlets where they're in need of people who maybe aren't making videos but know how to edit them or know how to support a video team. That's all I know right now, and I'm learning more as we go.
Yes, Dan's a first-year student, so that's kind of why he's saying that he might not. Right, he's not. If other students are in their second year, they've had that like time through the summer internship, and now they're in their third semesters, right, versus their first semester. So just to give you all context. Any questions out here? Oh, yeah, sure.
Hey, thank you. I think you mentioned you worked with Michael Pollan a little bit, but I was curious if any of you all have, being Berkeley students, had access to the faculty and, in the different colleges who are doing like really, frontier research. And I don't know if you all do science stories at all, but sorry, I came in a little late.
Okay, this isn't me specifically, but I feel like, yeah, we do have a lot of access to like, some of the different colleges. We are able to collaborate with, different faculty members outside of the J School to do things. I mean, aside from like Nava's internship, right? I know of a few students who are working with the Human Rights Center right now, doing some work there. I know that there are some students who I believe are also kind of working with the English department to do a few things here and there. And also just like outside of like J School stuff, like you can also like TA and be a reader for like all of these other faculty or all of these other like colleges and disciplines and whatnot. And then you can also make connections there and then be like, hey, like, could I help you with this or that on the side? And then like apply the skills that you're learning at the J School in other areas.
Just really quickly, we also have the Stakes project going on. And last semester, I was in Shireen's race and journalism class, and we were able to do interviews with professors who are kind of at this crossroads with the Trump administration. So there's always room to, work with like a school-led project and like interview professionals and have them as your resources around campus. So.
Yeah, I was going to say that literally the stakes, like this semester in our class, we're having Robert Wright? Yeah, for the stakes. And also if you're interested in science, like there's so many people on faculty, like Jen Kahn, I know has done a lot of science stories for like the New York Times, like Mark Shapiro, like a lot of long form stuff. So climate science, there's a lot of that here.
Any other questions out here before we? Okay. So I have a few questions here. So this is kind of more general, but any advice on the personal video? Do you remember doing that? Yes. So if you all have any advice for how you did it, and everyone asks me this question at admissions, and it's like, it's so variable. So, but yes.
Yeah, I can give advice because I was also unsure what kind of video to make. So I made sort of like I tried to be really creative with it, and I made like I pitched myself in the video and sort of did like quick cuts, and I was like, oh, this is what I bring, and this is what I want to learn and why I belong in Berkeley journalism. And so I made like a whole, like, I don't know, I don't remember the duration, but I know that it was a long video where I kind of like talked about myself and why I should be in Berkeley.
I just did it in my room. Like I set up my phone on a tripod. I had like a little script going that I used like to give me pointers, but I basically just whatever I couldn't include in my personal statement, I emphasized through the video. It was a little nerve-wracking, even if I was just doing it in my room, but yeah, the best advice would be just like, have your story like ingrained in your memory and like do it with as much authenticity as you can and just be you, and it'll come naturally, I guess.
I think those are great points because that's essentially the point of the personal video. I always like to highlight that it's also kind of, we use it as like in lieu of, I'm so bad at saying in lieu because I want to say it in French, en lieu, but because I'm half French, in lieu of an interview. So instead of that, that's kind of like our way of really getting to see you as in person. Like this is kind of that authentic voice, that like passion for journalism. We want to like see that in your own voice. And so, yeah, I think that's a perfect, point you made, Daniela.
I was just gonna say, I'm curious why you let me in. Like, what was in that video that you liked? No, but I think especially for Doc, I did try to make an effort to make sure the audio and the video quality was good and try to emulate. Like, if I was to light an interview, this is how I would do it. Even though I just shot it on my phone, I did try to make an effort to make it look somewhat good.
Thank you. I do want to, I know, and we're already at 12:45, so there are some other questions here. So how was for those that are from out of state originally, how was your process securing housing funding? Were GSI positions very competitive or rather approachable? And then, kind of the secondary question is, maintaining financial stability without full-time work, so it's kind of similar questions, but in that vein of like how you're, I know we broached that topic a little bit, but if you have any advice or just kind of what students, whether yourself or other students that you know of at Berkeley Journalism are doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if this is passed yet, but I applied during like that period where you could qualify for the scholarships. So
priority deadline.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
okay.
the
Thank you for reminding. Yes.
has that passed?
This year it's December 1. I think your year was the 15th, but
Okay. Yeah, so I'd highly recommend doing that. The fellowship that me and Sky had, we didn't apply for. But we were offered it because we applied before that deadline. But also even with that, like we both obviously have done part-time work. And so I think like if you're interested in that, definitely just apply early, both for the school and once you get in, like for those GSI positions, because there's like a lot of them, but I think they can be kind of competitive. And again, there's also other positions that aren't like TA readers. Like I do like social media, and it pays pretty well and works well with my schedule. So there's a lot of different options, but get started early, I'd say.
I will add to that because Dan, I remember you mentioning Slack and how we post a lot of between Betsy, who's our career development director. I know people mentioned Betsy, who's great, but also, our student services team, and like they are pretty good about posting just like all the opportunities from campus, whether that's exactly the academic student employment, GSI fellowship, or just fellowships that UC Berkeley in general has too. Like there's just so many, and other funding opportunities, whether that's kind of like more freelance work so I think the range of opportunities are available and there is a lot. So sometimes I think students, if anything, they're like, there's so many opportunities, like what do I apply for? But yeah, just to be aware that you're not just hanging, like we do our best to try to give you some support and guidance. I know our faculty try to do that too, or if students are in class. I think everyone does try to, we're a tight knit, like in the sense that we're, a smaller cohort, 50 to 60. I think in both of your classes, you're on 53 or 54 students. So so just that's an important part of Berkeley journalism is staying small, having those small class sizes and having that more catered mentorship and guidance. So thank you.
Really quickly, the Student Resource Center is amazing. I'm a Dean's Fellow, and I did get a pretty good financial aid package, but there were times where I was like, oh, yikes, like, I'm not going to make rent this month, because as a first year coming from SoCal, I had to quit my job, and I had to do a lot of things that had to be strategic, like I filed for unemployment, and then I was like living off of that for a little bit, but then when that ran out, I was like, yikes, December, okay, I need like X amount of money to make rent. And I applied to the Student Resource Center, and they were able to help me out with like a month of rent. So there's other resources outside of campus that are really great. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, times were rough at one point, but there's support, and there's always a way.
That's actually, there's another question that I want to ask that's kind of related to housing, which is like, what's it like living in Berkeley, and like housing, like kind of just what is it like, especially since I think most of you are coming from like not nearby, right? I hear SoCal, I don't remember. But yeah, so for some people it required, right, or most of you, it required a transition, so out here. So yeah, maybe you can kind of share about what it's been like and where maybe you guys live, if it's like Berkeley or somewhere else.
Well, I'm in grad student housing. I think like a few other people are. I just feel like I'm from Georgia, like really far away. Like I just knew no one, nothing about the area. So that felt like the easiest option. And it's not like cheap per se. Like you could probably find cheaper options, but I feel like that was the most accessible. And it's pretty close to campus. Good like public transit. So
yeah, I think the only thing was applying early for, right?
Yeah. Apply early for that also, but.
Yeah, and I live in Oakland, which is not too far. And when you come here, they also give you a free Clipper card. And it's like fairly, I'd say like it's pretty commuter friendly. So I think if you're looking for housing, look for it along the BART route, and you should still be like within an hour of the school. My commute is probably like about like 40 minutes. It could be an hour if traffic is really bad because I take BART in the bus. But like we're journalists, we have homework, we have readings. I just listen to the news every morning when I come here and back, or I'll read the articles for my homework. And I kind of like it. Like I think it's really convenient. So you don't have to feel constrained just to living in Berkeley, even though like I think I've heard folks have like pretty good like rent rates within Berkeley. So like if you want to be close to campus, that's cool. But you also have a broader range of places that you can go to. And if you're interested in moving to Oakland or like want any tips on that, feel free to reach out, because like the news does us so dirty, and there's a lot of beautiful things about the Bay in general. So we can talk about areas or whatever the case is.
Sorry, and something super quick. I came from Texas and I live in Emeryville right now, but I will say I also live in grad housing. But if you don't want to live in grad housing, or if you feel like, oh, it's a lot too expensive, the UC Berkeley has its own like Cal listing site where you can find like an apartment either in Berkeley, in Oakland. It's not like Cal affiliated per se, and you'll be able to live with like other students and other people who are connected to Berkeley though, if you're kind of unsure about going random with like a roommate or something. So.
I'll also shout out to the Berkeley Cooperative Housing. They actually have some dedicated graduate co-op housing, it is very competitive, but usually the rent is a bit cheaper, and you have a weekly time commitment to doing something in wherever you're living. But that is a great option, and also if you're coming in and don't really know the area, it's a great place to have a built-in community. So I'd recommend that.
Last thing, really quickly, I'm going to plug the Student Resource Center again, because if you need any help finding an apartment, navigating the application process and all of that is really daunting, but they will help you. Like if you don't have like money for a down payment, they'll help you with that. Even if you're like an incoming student, check out the Student Resource Center. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I also want to add that there's the iHouse, which is the international house. So I think that's also pretty competitive or selective, but I think the point is for a lot of these being in the Bay, yeah, just make sure that you apply early or as soon as you're kind of admitted, or know that that you want to come here, that you're kind of doing your research and looking at, right, like you said, kind of as a matriculated student, you'll have all these opportunities open up just being a current Berkeley, being a matriculated Berkeley student. So yeah, just things to keep in mind. But yeah, we'll end here. Thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate all of you and your insights. And I don't know if any of you feel comfortable sharing like emails. If you do, I'll just share those with them later. I'll send a kind of a follow-up email to everyone that registered today. And yeah, but thank you so much. And have a great rest of the day, everyone.